Hello everyone, welcome to Transition from Helpdesk to System Administrator course. In this course, we are going to be starting our next section, which is security, malware protection, firewalls, antivirus, server, client. Now, we're not going to discuss these technologies or specific software in very detail. We are going to be doing an understanding part where we will discuss the real world scenario so then you can at least get a picture of this section, and then in future we will be adding more specific videos to this section, and the same like switching and routing, we are creating more videos for that, and it will be adding more sections over here. So this is a very incomplete course at this point, but at one point you will be watching this course and everything will be in here. So let's get started with the security. So to kind of discuss a little bit from the firewall and a system administrator job with firewalls and web filters and antivirus servers and things like that, we will just keep it basics. So if you were working for a small company, you probably will get used to one firewall and that will be taking care of everything, even a VPN system in it, and you will be probably working on that. Usually, you probably have heard about Cisco ASA or some other firewalls, and that's something you will learn in the company, like whatever technology they're using, or you can also start learning it ahead of time. So this video will be a good starter for you guys to kind of test out some free enterprise level softwares out there, and then when you go to work, it will not seem very hard to learn these new technologies. So you probably will have one firewall, and then you'll have some servers, and then you will probably have, like, few computers, and on that you probably have an antivirus installed. So that could be like Microsoft Security Essential, which does not require a server, local server. So then you can install it on the machines. I believe it's 10 that you can install it on 10 machines. I'm not sure, but you guys have to check that. And that's kind of like a small business setup. But if you go to the big environment, medium-sized businesses or enterprise level, they will probably have much more than that, and that gives more, support. You need to support that type of products. So you'll probably have a firewall, and then you will have a server, and on that server you will have an application like semantic server, software servers, all other these different type of antivirus type servers. They probably will need to be installed on that server that you're running, either a VMware. So this you can see even in a few seconds as I discussed, like firewall, VMware, and then server. And as you can see, this is not a help desk, and you're moving away from that. And then this is where you're going to be doing most of your support things. So for example, if you're working with a company, and let's say for example you have a firewall, and let's say for example they're using Cisco ASA. This is an image of ASA firewall. As you guys can see, you can see NAT rules and these names are rules. So you'll kind of get used to these rules, policy terms in these firewalls, and that's kind of like a normal language for these firewalls. And VPN in there, you can see right here it says firewall. And typical real world scenario would be, let's say for example you have an employee or a staff member, and they have vendors that they work with, some other company, let's say some content management company or something like that, and then they need to send them some documents to update the site or do whatever they want to do. But the company says, hey, we use a FTP server, so can you upload it to that server? And let's say for example you as a security or system administrator say that, you know what, FTP, we are not using the non-secure FTP anymore. We're going to be using secure FTP. So you just went there and you blocked that port where you do the FTP transactions, like the files going between each other. So if you block that, then they're probably going to have an issue getting that working. So that's where you will jump in, and you will need to either introduce a new method alternative to them. Maybe you will tell them, hey, why don't you use our secure FTP and just upload it, and we'll just get access our secure system from your system. or just update your FTP, which is non-secure, to secure FTP. And that's how you are going to be working on these type of issues. It could be more than that. I mean, it could be something that you maybe OneDrive, Access, Microsoft now, like everything is online portal stuff. So when you sync files, it usually access some IP addresses. And then, let's say, for example, you have a very strict policies on outside network. You need to add these IP addresses to these firewalls right here. So this is just an image and just a real world scenario that I'm discussing with you guys and how you will be working with firewalls. Now, in a real world scenario, if you're not a security administrator, you are just working for a medium-sized company, you probably won't be doing too much with firewalls because this is not something you would be playing around with all the time. You just set it up, and if something goes bad or if something needs to be changed, then you will jump in. But firewalls are usually good, they can run, and then you don't need to do too much about it. Now, other calls could be, updating the firmware on the firewall itself, updates. Maybe there's a security issue, you need to update it. That needs to be done off hours because you need to restart the firewall, and that will cut the system. And things like that. You can just imagine how many calls you can get through it, but not much. You won't be doing too much unless, like I said, you are a security admin and that's your job. Then yes, maybe you're working for a very big company and that's what they do every day. They get some kind of request and things like that. Yes, you will be working on that, but this course is a little bit not about security. It's just how to transition to the system admin. So some of the time maybe you will be working on firewalls. Now, this is ASA. What I would suggest you guys to basically go to this Untangle, which is a free enterprise level software. You can install this basically, like on the computer, old computer. You needed two Ethernet cards, so you can plug in one, and that will be internal, and another will be external. So you can have a full firewall with antivirus, web filtering system, everything inside that. That's if you want to use it at your home. You have a computer, and you can try this out. Now, if you go to the help desk course, I do have some videos on Untangle, so you guys can watch that. But this is for practice. You guys can come in and practice hands-on. The reason I'm saying this, you should do this because you will kind of learn how to install it on the real hardware, and then you will be figuring out the networking stuff. Then you will be playing around with some type of rules in there, and that's how you are going to learn. That's the best way you will learn, because if you can learn it from scratch, then the other issues are like just kind of learning the application itself, like allowing something or creating a new rule. That's pretty easy to do as long as you can do the hardware stuff. You can do the troubleshooting from the scratch, then you should be in a good shape. The next one is the another Linux space. This is if you are totally in security. I mean, this is something probably you won't be able to even, if you are a new admin, you won't be even touching this stuff. But just in case, if you are interested in something really, really advanced and you want to get that security hat on, you can definitely try the Security Onion, which is basically Linux-based distro. So you can get that in. You can see right here, it's basically, it gives you all one of the best tools out there, Snort and all these bro. And now these terms, if you're brand new to this might sound really strange to you guys, but when you get to security side, this is somewhere you will be probably touching, like hearing about IDS, IPS, all these kind of right here, NIDS, HIDS, all this stuff that you're gonna basically learn is through when you kind of install these kind of tools and play around with it. So that's kind of advanced stuff. I just put it there just in case if someone is already good with firewalls and basic stuff and they want to know something more and they didn't know about it. So this is where you need to be. Another one is the online. This is something that you will see a lot of enterprise level, medium-sized businesses are using it for sites, for web servers, for web applications, and even for desktops and servers. It's an online-based, scanning tool. So you basically register, you will download a little tool, and it will scan your systems and sites and everything for vulnerabilities and things like that. You guys can try that out. But the one that I'm going to be trying today is this one, Sophos, and that's kind of my focus in this video, is that in the beginning, if you are transitioning from help desk to system admin, you won't be touching firewall stuff. I don't think that will be a good idea because you probably won't know or delete a rule or maybe change something, and that can just totally stop the traffic or do something really bad that it's kind of hard for any administrator to kind of figure out if you didn't document it, or you mistakenly did something that you cannot recreate the problem. That will be a big problem. So usually when you start is you already have experience with installing clients on a machines, right? Like desktop machines and things like that, or maybe deployment too, because we have done that deployment in a help desk course, and we have done it in very detailed way. And that's kind of like the thing that I wanted to focus over here. That Sophos, I'm gonna share this link, is that their system is something that you guys should really look into, because the reason I'm saying is that they're using the same technology that IT professionals are using outside for businesses. So if you train yourself on this one, it's just limited. It's just limited to 10 computers, but for you, it's perfect hands-on. Starting to learning about the security side, and if somebody asks you about interview, you can use the Sophos. It's pretty well known, like it's semantic, and all these servers are well known terms. And now I don't know if semantic provides something like this, but Sophos does provide free commercial grade security for home, so you can install this on your machines. Or the one that I tried today is the Sophos Cloud, and I'm just trying it with you guys, so that's going to be a nice way to learn this. This is kind of the same, like, this one that you get a email address and everything, and then they will give you access to their portal. The same way you can do this with Sophos Cloud. You can click on it, it will take you to this link. You put your email and business email if you have, and then put a 30 days. Now, if you don't have a business email and you can't set this up, you can come back and actually download it, get started right here. And that's kind of like they will give you, you will need to create an account with them, and then they will give you the installer. You'll need to follow directions. Now, at this point, I don't need to go back with the directions, because if you're moving from help desk, you already know how to follow directions. So if you don't, please watch the IT documentation video on help desk course. So here I went there, I put my email, last name, business card. I got the email, my webmail, and I activated it right here. I click on activate, and then when I came here, I got the login here, and basically I logged into my portal, which is let me try that right now again. So here it is. I logged in with my username and password, and here this is the first screen that is basically telling me protect this device. Click to deploy protection agent on this device. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click on it, because this is where I'm gonna get everything working in the background. And right, sees endpoint protection. Now this is something, it's basically the same way you're going to be doing this at work. So if you want to, when you add this stuff, you have the console ready, the portal ready, then you're just getting the client, and you just need to install it on the desktop, and then you manage everything from this central place. And that's how it is. When I talked about you having working in a mid-sized company, and they have a firewall, and then they have a server, they install the application on it, and then the application can deploy, or you can install the client on the desktop machine. That's the same case over here, but they just cut this part right here, and you can just go to the internet, and from the cloud you can just manage things. And that's kind of like neat, if you don't want to deal with servers, because here another part as a system administrator is that since you install this software on the server, you also need to now manage the server itself. So whatever server you're using, you could be using 2012 um, Windows Microsoft server, and let's say for example, you probably already know this. If you send a, you're trying to install a client to on a machine, that's a semantic client on a machine, and then somehow it's not updating. That's because maybe that server is not getting updates, because that's how it's configured. And when you look at the server, you basically assign that call to the system administrator. What do they do? Usually they'll look if the server is up and running, it's not hanged or something like that. Can they access it? Is there something going on with the hardware? I mean, if they can access it, that's good. If they cannot, they will have to do some other troubleshooting. But let's say they can, they log in. The second step will be they will look at the space. Usually, space is the biggest issues when you have things like that running because they create logs, and if they're not configured correctly, the logs can get bigger in a month or two. It can just take over the whole space. So now you're not getting any updates from internet because you don't have space, and this is where things get messy, and that's where the problems get started. And that's where you can cut this all troubleshooting, and then now you just need to manage everything from here because you don't need to worry about server. And that's where you can do the Windows. So let me just click on Windows. Right now I'm getting the software installed on this computer, and I am going to run that, and that's just the same way. Now this could be either you deploying it using some kind of software, or, PDQ deploy or any other software machine you can use, sorry, a software deployment server or something like that. You can push it out to all the desktops, or you can give it to your help desk guys, and then they will take care of it. So you click next. I'm going to install it. Click next. I'm not gonna say remove. I'm just gonna say install. All right. So once it's complete, click on finish, and we're going to just close this because we installed it. And now what we're gonna do is to log into our portal. So once you install it and get back to your central admin, you see right here, I can go back to computers, and then you see that my computer is added, and that's the username. So you can see it detects the windows and stuff like that. And then from here on, you can start managing this computer. So if you click on that computer, you can see summary. You can reboot recommender after software update, new computer protected, and you can see right here, agent update status is just updated successfully. I can scan everything, and here you can add. These are the things that are just basically like kind of like system, what's allowed and not allowed. You can see right here. You can be more detail, and you can look at this. You guys just put the password in there. You can change the password from here. Policies, you can add policies, and this is what I was talking about, that you can play around with policies, and that's the kind of same way all the firewalls are. Like, when you go to the firewall stuff, it's always policies, rules, and things like that. This is the best way because it's very easy to kind of do things here. So when you click on base policies, and then it just tells you right here, use recommended option. You can go to live protection, check this stuff here. Real-time scanning, you can check uncheck stuff like that. Other things you can do a lot of, you can block something, you can schedule scanning, you can put a schedule in here so it will start scanning over here. You can just put something like an exclude something from the scan. You can do that. Here you can, basically get this machine, like what's allowed and what's not allowed. So if I don't want CD-ROM, or something that I don't want it to be running on this machine, I can just do like allow or disallow. You can just click check this right here, and you can change block, and then that's how. And this is kind of like, I'm just going through quickly. There's a lot of things that needs to be learned in this thing, but just showing you guys that how easy it is from the admin side when you have things like, even on the server. The only part, the learning part, is that you looking at documentation and then making sure that the system requirement is okay when you install application on servers. And that's where your technical skills will be used as a system administrator, because this is where you do research. No one would know anything. Let's say, for example, the product is just made by some guys, and it's not on internet available for free. So, and this is a new software, and no system administrator will know. The only thing they know is how to basically go to their documentation and how to get the support. Because when you buy it from the companies like that, when you pay for it, then you definitely get support, and that's how the system administrators work, because they work with the support. They usually kind of guide the other team because they're the experts in this stuff. So they will teach you stuff, they will show you things, and that's how you learn things. And that is what people do in system administration. It's not like help desk now. Help desk is very open field, because you can go and get something on desktops. There's many applications. You can do one task with too many applications, and you won't have any issues. You won't run into many issues, even with the permissions and things like that. But when it comes to system administration, you're probably working on either few products or a lot of products. Don't know what company you're going to be working for, but you're going to be working on a very strictly controlled product, and that's where you need to do more of document searching and working with their support is the most important thing. Here, if you go to the firewall, you can see there's no firewall. You can register things over here. Again, I'm just getting used to this myself, so probably I'll play around with it. But just to show you guys quickly, you guys can do that and play around with your machine, and that's how you are going to learn. Now, that was Sophos Central. Now I'm going to show you guys how I have set up, which is basically um, this was a cloud setup. So usually that probably this is probably a lot of people might be going towards this now because since people are moving to Office 365, everything is getting cloud and they see how easy it is to manage things. Now they're going to be moving to this direction. But many companies that you're going to be applying for probably will have firewall and then some server, and in that server you'll have some kind of software like server based, and even Sophos give you that software like server based software, and then you can do the installation on client side, and that's how it is in Semantic server. So that's another big enterprise level antivirus that a lot of people are using. You good or bad, it doesn't matter, but when you go to an interview or you're going to get jobs and stuff, these names matter. So try to see if you can practice or look into some videos about Semantic or Sophos, because that's nice to put it on your resume that you know the administration level or troubleshooting on these type of softwares. So this is that server-based application that you needed. Basically, I needed a server to install this application. Now, before even installing this, we need to make sure that the server requirements were met, and that is kind of the system administration part where you need to even create a server for this. So that could lead you to either get a full hardware server or maybe a virtual server. So that leads you to another technology, which is VMware, and that's not we're not discussing that, but I'm just saying that how many things are involved in a real world scenario where it's not just learning about this, it's just what is it running on, how you're going to do this stuff, and it's kind of like mostly towards this area now. I hope you guys are understanding where when I talk about these things, and that's the most important thing that I want to do in this course. And I don't want to teach just product here. I don't want to teach about just an application. I want you to teach the whole, you understanding that where you're going, because then when you understand how to search, how to basically know the skills, how to search for these skills, then it's really easy to learn any product, any application. It doesn't matter I mean, how big it is, as long as you know how to search things, as long as you know what's the right way to do things in system administration level, then it's just piece of cake. So as you can see right here, this is a different type like I explained. This is on the server. This is not on the cloud. It's on the local server, and you can see you'll get something like this: up to date, this many machines, total endpoints, 372 machines. And then if it says out of date, then there's something going on. You probably will send this to your help desk guys first. They will check it out. Maybe it needs some type of, that computer has some type of issues going on, maybe firewalls or some other issues. They'll do their troubleshooting, and if they can't solve it, they'll probably give you one. They'll just say, this is the machine, and you will log in and kind of troubleshoot and see if you can find the issue, and then you can just tell them the fix for other 5 machines. And if they fix it, good, problem solved. But like I said, it's more than just doing the antivirus stuff. You have more like firewall related stuff over here too. You can go to the policies, and this is more of enterprise level application. This is where you will do a lot of firewall stuff right here. So you can see the firewall policies right here in this application, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the firewall side. So like I said, I mean, you probably have a different firewall um, taking care of everything. But this can also, uh, you need to learn about this stuff also. If you're using a server-based antivirus and that has the ability to do firewall things and web